When we are growing up and we buy puff puff by the roadside, when we are done having the puff puff, you have lots of oil on your fingers that you can rub it on your face, on your legs, and on your hands during Harmattan season. I thought I should bring you memory of those days. Now again, we're looking at your yeast secret tips, mixing tips, and your frying secret tips. If you master this tip, my dear, you are good to go. Now, for your yeast, it must be active, it must not be stale, and it must not be expired. And when adding your yeast, do not add too much yeast. If your yeast is active, it is not stale yeast. By the time you've proofed your puff puff, your batter should proof beautifully like what you saw. And make sure you do not add too much yeast to your batter. If your yeast is not active, your batter will be looking like this. It will not proof, even after allowing a long time for it to proof. Do not use more than 1 tablespoon of yeast to 500 grams of flour, or at most 1.5 tablespoon of yeast to 500 grams of flour. And if you're increasing the quantity, for an extra 500 grams of flour, add an extra half tablespoon of yeast. I hope this helps. Now for your mixing secret tip. Do not add too much water to your batter. And when you're adding the water, make sure your water is warm. Add your water a little bit. You do not want your puff puff batter to be too watery. You want it to have some level of thickness, because by the time it has proof, it will become lighter. And when it is too light, when you fry, your batter will absorb so much oil. That's the reason why some of your puff puff comes out dry. It is too light. It will just be frying like akara, not puff puff. Add your water a little bit, and make sure when you mix it, add your water. Your batter should be like this. It shouldn't be thicker than this. Even if it's thicker than this, just a little bit. The thicker, the better. Because after you allow your batter to proof, it will become light and easy for you to cut your butter into the oil, and you will come out having the perfect puff puff recipe at the end of the day. I hope this helps. If this is your first time of stopping by my channel, you're so welcome. And if you've been here before, good to have you here once again. And if you haven't subscribed, do subscribe to Debbie's Kitchen. Do like and share. Tell me if you're enjoying this video. Now let's move on to another secret. Add a little bit of vegetable oil or butter to enhance the fluffiness of your puff puff. Some of you will say, Madam, calm down. Did they add butter for puff puff? I don't know about you, but my dear, when I tried it, then the thing came out well. My mom is a pro at making puff puff, and she adds a little bit of vegetable oil to her puff puff recipe before frying. And I used to wonder what. But when I added butter, my dear, it took my puff puff to another level. It was fluffy. It looks good. It looked classic. It gave it a kind of texture that is unique, so you can consider adding. Now for your frying tips, fry on consistently medium heat. See, but for your puff puff, the oil must be hot. As you are cutting your butter into the oil, your puff puff should be bubbling like so. The bubbling of the oil has a way of shaping your puff puff and gives it a very unique texture at the end of the day. It helps it brown evenly. My dear, it shouldn't be too hot, so if not, your puff puff will not be looking this beautiful. It will be looking black. So when you're heating up your oil, it should be on medium heat, and when you're cutting your puff puff into the oil, it should still be on medium heat, and when you're frying, it should still be on medium heat, and you will come out getting a very beautiful puff puff at the end of the day. I don't know whether these tips have helped you. If it has, I want you to comment. Now for your butter, let me add just adding a teaspoon of butter to 500 grams of flour, or at even a teaspoon of butter to 1 kg of flour, we go a long way. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. I hope these tips have helped you. If it has, comment, and see you in my next one. God bless you.